State chapter of PDP and the State Working Committee led by Engineer Charles Ugu and Right Honorable Meki Hedioha, who even suspended campaigns for 1 week and mourned with us. I salute members of the CUPP and leaders of other political parties. Though it was most painful that in this painful period, the national leadership of my party, led by you choose not to make a comment or even condemn the attack because of personal differences with some members of the National Working Committee. It hurt very badly, but it hurts very badly that we abandoned at such a time. But that will be addressed later, as it's not a matter for today. In Imo State, I'm pressed for appropriate international sanctions. We will also share this evidence with all the domestic security agencies. We must get Nigeria right. We appreciate the foreign mission for the visa ban, but we want assets freeze and arrest once they enter their country. Arrest of these men who want to murder us all and undermine the 2023 general election, which we are going to submit evidence on them starting from today. On January 14th, we came under heavy terrorist attack, led and coordinated by militias who, from all evidence, were state-sponsored and state-backed, with the sole aim of killing me to permanently silence me from making any other exposure on the rigging plans against the 2023 general election. We were shot at. We were bombed with high-grade explosive. Houses were leveled with bombs. Those still standing were shaken to their foundations, and vehicles numbering over 32 were all set ablaze with this explosive. Several motorcycles belonging to us and hardworking villagers were burnt, among other property valued in billions that was lost in the attack. They attacked in broad daylight, firing from all angles and leaving over 500 bullet holes on the houses in my country home. Innocent people were killed for no reason. January 14 now is very quickly assuming a dark day in the history of Imo State. On 14 January 2022, Imo State watched helplessly as a man whom they did not vote for was pronounced as governor of the state, an illegitimacy that haunts us till this day. Since then, Imo has been turned into a killing field, with tributaries of blood now flowing into the Atlantic Ocean. We got intelligence that a convoy of assailants was looking for the way to my home. I did not see the message when it arrived because I was discussing with my team. But upon seeing it, I rushed out to inform the security men on duty to reinforce and organize. And while that was going on, I sighted the convoy. But before our security men could react, they opened fire at me. I only narrowly escaped being hit by the special grace and mercy of God. With the security men, we now rushed into one of our houses and formed a defense that they continued to hit on. Thank God we survived. Gentlemen, let me make it categorically clear. I was not attacked by members of IPOB. I was attacked by state-sponsored militia that has semblance with the same team that attacked my convoy on the 23rd of December 2022, which was led by the special advisor to Hope Uzodinma on special duties, Mr. China Sanwaneri, who was seated in a white Hilux van that was used for that attack. It is important that I state this clearly because Imo, under Uzodinma, is now a society where life is short and brutish. It is now an animal kingdom and human life has lost all its values. The anarchy in Imo State has now gone out of hand with different killer groups operating freely. Gallant soldiers and policemen have been fed by bullets of this squad, yet they continue undeterred, while the government of Imo State has continued to politicize the killings without any serious effort to bring it under control, like you all saw in my own case. How did all this Ikenga must die agenda start? Sometime in September, I informed the world of the grand manipulation and compromise of the voter register, a plot now popularly called Amuma Magic. Nigerians would like to note that INEC has since removed over 3 million of such fake names inputted into the register. It has also identified 25 of its staffs who were involved in Amuma Magic and has commenced internal disciplinary actions against them. So when they say that what we said was a lie, ignore them. Following that revelation of the compromise which spanned across 14 states in the country, and my quest for justice and action against those who were involved, the Uzodinma administration became very uncomfortable with me and they started looking for ways to silence us. They know that if we could have got that information, then we could get more. First, they framed me for terrorism and arson, claimed that I was responsible for the burning of INEC offices in Imo State, that it was from documents I obtained from the burnt offices that I made the Amuma Magic allegation. They also made murder allegations against me. They made several other disgusting allegations. I endured all this and still kept calling for justice for the compromise of the voter register. These allegations were not just rumors. The Attorney General of Imo State made these allegations in processes he filed in court. So this one that the governor has said, that I had meeting with people to stop election in South, still sounds as empty and unintelligent as all the other ones from which we have emerged victorious in court. Unfortunately, despite facts that are public, petitions to security agencies, the internal disciplinary measures by INEC, and other evidences available, the security agencies have not been able to charge even one person to court. This shows clearly that they have backing in high places. However, Nigerians should ask this vital question: how did the people who infused the fake names and photographs without biometrics of individuals in the voter register intend to use this name to their advantage if they have not found a way to bypass the BVAS accreditation process? If they could not have used them, would they have bothered themselves adding those names and photographs taken from school yearbook, almanac, calendars, and obituary record from citizens of other countries? Yet, innocent INEC staff were rather charged to court. These charges have been withdrawn when they could not gather any evidence to back up their baseless charges. Unfortunately, for inexplicable reasons, the DSS Imo State Command and the anti-kidnapping unit of Imo State Police Command were in this. It is quite painful. In the unforeseen event that the 2023 general election goes wrong, Nigerians should know that those who were behind the compromise of the voter register and their collaborators are responsible. To forestall this, I call again that the security agencies must fish out all those involved in a more magic voter registration compromise and prosecute them. This is the same call for which the state has conspired to ensure that I'm killed. But rather than get scared, they should know that I'm more emboldened to make the call yet again. If the security agencies ask themselves how all these imported names who do not have fingerprints are supposed to be accredited and be used to vote, they will know that election faces severe threat and they will work hard to nip it in the bud. These people are working on how to undermine the BVAS technology, and in order not to allow Nigerians know, Ikenga must be killed. When I received a call, which I will replay here for the whole world to hear, from Chinasa Nwaneri, the special advisor to the Imo State governor on special duties, notorious in Imo State for leading physical attacks on the opponents of the governor, the judiciary, and Imo citizens at large, I petitioned, but no action was taken. Chinasa Nwaneri threatened to harm me anytime I return to the state.
I will prison you. I will prison you. I'm telling my chief, it's just to prison you. I'm telling my chief. You want to lock it down with that thing. I will prison you. I'm talking about again.
Okay, so that's what you and Hope is
I want to achieve it. We continue there. I want to achieve it. I'm not talking about again in the back corner. But you decided to go to and call me a criminal. If I don't prison you, I will harm myself.
Chinasa, yeah, Hope Uzodinma is not God, so don't even bother boasting what you can do and not.
If I don't prison you, I will harm myself.
Chinasa, you cannot be prison.
Tomorrow, I'm waiting for you.
Yes, you cannot be prison.
I'm going to charges here with you.
No wahala. No wahala.
If I don't prison you, I will not be free. You go to
Chinasa, no wahala. I will not run away from away because of
also, okay now. They come, I didn't hear. You don't need visa. You don't need visa to come to me. But I think I will prison you. I will declare you. I will declare you. You be guy, but I go declare you.
No
also,
I've had it from you. No problem. Calling me on my phone, threatening me. Calling me on my phone, threatening me is the one I don't understand. Stop doing that. Stop calling me.
Nigerians are used to this empty vessel attack.
No, stop. No, stop. And I'm telling you, stop calling my phone and telling me those rubbish.
No. Look too small for me to threaten now.
Then why are you calling? Then why not face me? Why not face me?
Threatening you as what?
That you are. No, that you are carrying.
Then, on 23rd December 2022, we got to Imo State, and despite their best efforts, we made it to Akokwa, my hometown. But when my convoy left to take my guests who came from Abuja with me to Owerri, we were attacked by hooded men who did not speak Igbo language but spoke like those from Rivers and Bayelsa, and they opened fire. But in a white hilux was seated this same Chinasa Waneri, who was coordinating the attack. After this attack, I also wrote petitions to the security agencies and also the National Security Advisor. Yet to the base of my knowledge, nothing was done. This is the petition we wrote on 29th December 2022 to Inspector General of Police, and the one we wrote on the same 29th December to the National Security Advisor received and acknowledged about the assassination attempt on my life led by Governor Uzodimma's head. If the security agencies have apprehended Chinasa, we will not have gotten to the second phase of the terrorist attack at my place that left many people dead. This was exactly Chinasa, just like Chinasa said, that they are in charge of all security agencies and nobody can help me. Chinasa also asked if I knew that several Bubagu members were unknown and that it would be easy for them to make me disappear without traces and nothing would happen. Till date, this man Chinasa still walks the street freely, enjoying the full backing of the state and moving about with a retinue of policemen. I continued my campaigns while putting my faith and hope in God and the institutions of the state, which I believe would be decent enough to protect us. On January 14, during the attack, I succeeded in sending emergency SOS message. The security agencies in Imo did not respond promptly. They only did long after the attack. Till today, I'm not aware anybody from DSS in Imo visited the crime scene. I'm also not aware that the Commissioner of Police visited the scene. I'm also not aware of any official statement from these security agencies about the attack. I appreciate one of the DIG, who I will not mention his name, who made efforts from Abuja. Also the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Imo State, the area commander and divisional police officer in charge of Akokwa, who at one time or the other visited. Nigerians, however, saw a governor who rushed to the media to try to impede investigation, if any, by dishing out untenable and indefensible narrative to water down the massacre of our people. When Uzodimma spoke, he made reference to documents in his possession. The question would then be, did the governor have a brief of what happened to me even before it happened? What can Uzodimma tell the world that he did with the so-called security report of my so-called meetings with people who wanted to stop election in Southeast? Or did he not do anything because he knew the so-called people would come and attack me? So when exactly did the governor receive his security report, as there is yet no investigation on the terrorist attack on my house? The storyline of the governor seemed much like a prepared speech he already had to announce my death to Ndimo, that those I had a non-existing agreement with killed me after I breached the agreement he concocted in his head. But he failed and was unable to change the statement after I had survived and before the mic was put before him. Hope, you have a lot to answer to Ndimo and the world on what you knew about the terrorist attack on our home that left my uncle and other innocent people dead. In his midst glee and anger, attack happened, and anger that I did not die. The governor throughout his speech did not condemn the killings that happened in my house. He did not commiserate with the families of the dead. Yet, these are citizens he swore to protect their lives. Till today, the Imo State government has not condemned the attack on my house, but rather, he was excited on the TV while saying I deserve the evil that was brought to our home. This is very curious. A further listen to the statement of the Commissioner for Information of Imo State, one Declan Emelumba. He outrightly rubbished the so-called security report which Uzodimma relied on to make his comment and gave other reasons why what happened in my house happened. If truly there was a security report by security agencies from which the governor spoke, could the commissioner have given different reasons? It only goes to show that the Commissioner of Information did not believe the lies told by the governor and believed he could have given the situation a better spin to the story, hence their disjointed stories. Many who saw the distasteful and disgusting video of the governor did not see a man who is supposed to be embodiment of authority that is legitimate, and a man who was supposed to have human heart, but rather saw a man who was laughing and trivializing the murder of his citizens and members of my family. He laughed as he dished out his unbelievable narrative that I deserve what happened to me. I've always known Uzodimma as a man of very controversial past, but I never knew he was a man who completely lacked every baseline of humanity, even in public glare. I am still in shock, and I wonder, is this how Imo has descended? Is this how low Imo has descended? Indeed, now I see what power can do to a man, particularly a man undeserving of the power he wields. Let me state categorically once again, I believe the political solution to the insecurity in the Southeast must begin, and it must begin with the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Relying on the judgment of the court from the Federal High Court in Umuahia and also the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja, the government can release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and begin the healing process from there. It will lead to the identification of those who have genuine agitations and criminals who have taken advantage of the situation to wreak havoc on our people. But those who are making billions from the business of insecurity thriving in Imo and Southeast today will not want to hear this. For this reason, and to stop me from also exposing their plans for the worst political heads that are planning in our land, Ikenga must die. But unfortunately, they are not my mentor. The same way I advocate for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu release and for reconciliation process to begin, in the same way we advocated for Sheikh Isaac Zaki to be released. It was the same way I advocated for Sowore, for Deji Adeyinju, for Sunday Igboho, Umar Mohammed, and many other citizens who at one time or the other, we believe, deserve their freedom and enforcement of their fundamental rights granted under the 19th Constitution. Ours is a search for solution, justice, equity, and fairness. Is that enough for me to be killed? I say again, those who attacked my house did not speak Igbo language, but they spoke like people from Rivers and Bayelsa, just like the people who attacked my convoy on 23rd December 2022. So we are not in doubt about the people who attacked us. At least more than 4 persons who witnessed the first attack and had the attacker speak also survived the second attack and also had them. They could not have all been wrong. Dear Nigerians, what I'm about to say now, they do not know, I know. Here is the photo. I can show it.
The same photo.
Yes. Here is the photo of a gold-colored Toyota Highlander SUV with registration number MUS 469 GF belonging to one Mr. Uzoma Chukwujieze and his wife Kelechi Chukwujieze from Ihito of Ukwu in Ahiazumbise in Imo State. This vehicle I'm showing you was snatched from Mr. Uzoma, who is in coma now in hospital. In Owerri, mark what I'm saying, in Owerri, who was severely beaten by people matching the description of those who attacked our house. Mr. Uzoma is still in the hospital. This same Highlander was the first car in the convoy of cars that I saw with my own eyes that came to attack us in our house. So how was a Highlander taken from Owerri, drive all the way through the security point from Owerri, Mbitolu, Olo, Mgbe, Idatosa down to Akokwa, filled with gunmen and carrying all this explosive, drive from Owerri to Akokwa without being spotted despite the checkpoints? These people asked for the direction to my house. While they were living in panic, obviously having been informed that I had succeeded in sending out an SOS and there may be independent intervention, the car got stuck in a ditch and they were forced to bomb it there, setting it ablaze. But as God will have it, we were able to retrieve the number plate. The number plate, it is still there on the road leading to my house. You can see it clearly. You can see it clearly here. The number plate, we were able to retrieve it. I was gotten the woman and got the original registration of their car. You can see where it was bombed along the road so that they will hide that evidence. This piece of evidence from our private investigation debunks completely the lies of Hope Uzodinma about the identity of those who attacked my house and the direction they come from. The Hope Uzodinma who have been looking for any reason, however flimsy, to put me away for exposing on magic cannot change the facts of what happened in my house on 14 January. If truly Uzodinma had any credible intelligence against me to stop election in the Southeast, why did he not use such reports since to nail me? Rather, he was cooking bogus allegation which could not be sustained in court. By his comments, Uzodinma admitted that he knew I was going to be killed and he did not do anything about it. Yet he said he is chief security officer. Can it not now be said that it was the silence that led to the deaths that occurred in my house? The same method of labeling me and making unfounded allegation. We are gathering more evidence. We are still running analysis of some of the things we found, and in due course, more facts will emerge. Just for clarity's sake and for record, I have never had any meetings with any IPOB or ESM members or any other persons or group for election not to hold. I have been on this campaign and consultation for over 3 years now, with every town and village visited. So how can I want to stop a process I have spent and invested huge resources and time for which the great people of Idato are ready to massively vote for me in few weeks' time. I therefore challenge Governor Uzodimma to bring forward the purported evidence he said were in his possession about the date, time, venue of the meetings I had with IPOB members and ESN and their identities. That I advocate for the release of Maazị Nnamdi Kanu and exposure of the evil plot to rig the 2023 general election called Mama Magic does not require me to be killed. These things are based on my sincere belief that it is the right thing to do, and Uzodimma cannot scare me away from that view with his false allegations against me. I have been consulting for the last 3 years, traversing every town and villages in the federal constituency, investing millions of hard-earned money, yet someone said I discussed with people for election not to hold. Such a stupid allegation. If I had started moves and consultations since 3 years ago, when then could that meeting have been? If Uzodimma is not guilty of Mama Magic as he wants the public to believe, why has he been panicking and looking for excuses to put me away? Nigerians will remember that the government organized 7 press conferences in 3 days to attack me. They brought out one condemned criminal from the prison to come to claim that I'm his gay partner. That is how low those Uzodimma government can go. How low could Imo State government led by Uzodimma go? Officials of the government shared the horribly short videos, including his SA who led the first attack on Michina Sawaneri. Now, officials of the government shared it. The guilty conscience of Uzodimma government cannot be seen by anyone looking at him. Does all this not show he is no longer fit to be in the office of the governor of a state? If by his own admission he said that he knew people were going to kill someone, and his only reaction was to conclude that the person deserved death, then he has lost every right to be a governor of a state. Assuming I deserve death, what about the other innocent people who have died in that attack? Do they also deserve death? What of those whose properties were burnt? What of those whose houses were shaken to the foundation and glass pans shattered by the explosive? Do they deserve to be so punished? That, unfortunately, is the consequences of unmerited and an undeserved mandate. I therefore use this opportunity to call on Mr. President Muhammad Buhari, the National Security Advisor, the Inspector General of Police and the DSS to fulfill their promise to Nigerian people to rein in this government-backed militia and killer squad. They will remember that this was their promise when political leaders met with them. If there is any humanity left in us, please let the carnage in Imo State be stopped immediately and in different parts of the southeast. Nobody is sure of his life again in Imo. People, please, Imo is bleeding, and it is time to look into what is happening in Imo State, starting with the investigation of my case. It will show who are truly behind the killings in Imo. Because in Imo today, many bloody activities are covered with the tag of unknown gunmen. For this reason, and others which cannot be made public today, I call for the arrest, investigation and prosecution of Mr. China Sawaneri and one Ajango who celebrated his birthday just yesterday and made merry while those who were killed are still in mortuary. And also Mr. Declan Emelumba for the various low roles they allegedly played in the 2 attacks on my convoy and on my house on 23rd December 2022 and 14 January 2023. The arrest and investigation will undoubtedly lead to the unraveling of those who commissioned the hit on my house and the killing of our people. It is also on this note that I announce that we have come to the end of the first phase of our mourning period, pending when we will lay the remains of our heroes who died in that attack to rest. We deeply miss them and we pledge to successfully complete the race we started, for which they paid the supreme price. Hence, I announce the full resumption of my campaign activities so that come 25th February, we shall put to shame the killers of our people, and we win not for ourselves, but for our people, our fallen comrades, all of us of justice, equity, and fairness, and bring effective representation to our people, and give our people a strong voice in the National Assembly that will advocate for a country that is rooted in the principles of justice, equity, and fairness on the strong pillars of a restructured nation. I assure that our people will have a voice that is courageous and will speak truth to power. I therefore call on all our supporters in Idato Nation once again to remain steadfast, law-abiding and strong. Ikenga Imo Ugochinyere is back again. I am running this election under the banner of PDP, and I will win this election for our party, as I urge everyone in Idato and who knows someone in Idato to tell them that it is no longer about election and winning, but about stopping those who mocked our people when they were being killed and did not do anything to save them when they could have done something. I call on Umunnem Ndimo, stand up, don't be scared. The state belongs to us all. We cannot surrender it to those who lack the decency and popular way to be in office. With courage and unity, we can recover Imo State from this ongoing madness. They don't own the state. They didn't build it. They didn't contribute to the creation of Imo. And we must stop them from burning down and destroying Imo State and the lives of our people. Start mobilizing from Idato to Uguta, from Olu to Owerri, from Owerri to Okigwe. We must send these strange men away with the power of the ballot. We will mobilize our people. We will come out early to vote. We will defend our vote, and we will make sure our vote counts. The sovereignty of the people will not be trampled upon. I call on the international community, who we shall take time out to visit all their embassies starting from today, before we return to Owerri, to submit petition and some of the evidence we have on the killings going in Imo State and press for appropriate international sanctions. We will also share this evidence with all the domestic security agencies. We must get Nigeria right. We appreciate the foreign mission for the visa ban, but we want assets freeze and arrest once they enter their country. Arrest of these men who want to murder us all and undermine the 2023 general election, which we are going to submit evidence on them starting from today. Let me call on President Muhammad Buhari to note that his promise to leave a legacy of free, fair and credible election is under attack. That legacy can only be achieved under an atmosphere of peace and security. Encourage the security agencies to do more. Call, Mr. President, call Hope Uzodinma to order now before he throws our democracy overboard. While we appreciate Mr. President for the beavers and all that initiatives so far to make our election free and fair, we must ask Mr. President to immediately demand for the investigation report on those who compromised the voter registration process, now called Omuma Magic, and also the investigation report of the INEC office, the transport unit that was burnt in Owerri. That report and what happened will also lead to us to understand those who are behind the carnage in Imo. If the perpetrators are allowed to continue to work free, they are still plotting to undermine the process, and this is capable of throwing our country into unrest if not well managed. Mr. President, ask the security agencies to unravel those people, to unravel how these people intended to use the fake names and photographs they loaded into the voter register to get accredited and vote. This answer will unravel a lot of things and safeguard our election. This is part of the reason they bombed us and wants to kill me. Mr. President, we say this because we have intelligence that these people have assurances that they will have accreditation numbers preloaded for them. Though Nigerians have heard from Professor Mahmoud Yakub that the beavers is foolproof and cannot be hacked, and we believe and trust Mahmoud. These people hold the strong belief that they have already found a way around it. We do not think the country should relax until election day, only to find out that the evil people have succeeded. Please, we call for investigations now. Find them now before it is too late. They are running around looking for how to kill me because they know I have intelligence. Find them now, Mr. President, before they throw the country into crisis. We ask, who are those INEC says are trying to hack the INEC server and other platform? It is these same people, hence we need to make hay while the sun shines. Finally, to my brothers and sisters in Idato, in Imo State and Nigeria at large, I call on you today to learn from my courage and stand up to these murderers, though it is coming at a very huge cost. But I say to you, stand up to these cowards. They cannot stand fair competition. If our forefathers who fought slave trade did not stand firm, if our forefathers who gave us freedom from colonialism did not stand firm, who know where we would have been today? We should not succumb to their fear element. They use that to attempt to overpower us. I say to all of us, stand up to these men. The men who sponsored this bloody attack wanted me and my entire family dead. They could not bear the pain and future fear of the information at my disposal that I will keep releasing. Their vultures and dogs, why they bombed us, kept shouting how today will be my last, and how they will have my head severed from my body, and how they will make a video of my last hours. But at last, I am here, stronger than ever before, by the only power of God, who has kept me from being eaten by these vultures that have taken over Imo State. God does not want me dead until I actualize God's purpose. These sponsors of Akokwa Mayhem had wished that even though their killer agent missed me by the whiskers, that I would at last be too shocked and afraid to speak about the things I know. But I believe that the greatest weapon of the oppressor is fear, once they are able to frighten you. But despite carnage, our will has been made stronger. We are stronger, and our faith in God also stronger than ever before. We will be returning home to finish strong the people's project of providing a strong voice and effective representation for our people. We hope that Mr. President, the National Security Advisor, the Inspector General of Police, and the Director General of the DSS, in keeping to their promise, should direct for arrest and prosecution of these vultures that have taken over Imo State and stop the bloodbath. I will appeal to Mr. President again on the need for political solution and resolution of the Nnamdi Kanu issue, with his unconditional release, to pave way for genuine reconciliation and peace building in addressing all issues. The power resides with you, Mr. President. The courts have ruled at different stages, and you have the constitutional power. Ignore the advice of those who benefit from the unending blood flow and are hiding under it to unleash mayhem on our people in a bid to keep illegitimate power. They can never stand the sovereign will of the people. We must defend our mandate and do so with boldness so as to ensure the sanctity of the ballot, because it is by so doing that we can end this orgy of violence and bloodletting. We must all guide our polling units, ensure nobody takes away the beavers, especially between the hours of 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Protect all electoral staff and ensure nobody carries them away. The result must be a reflection of the will of the people. We have had how they intend to attack polling units to take away beavers and use accredited figures to write and upload fake results. We have had how they intend to attempt to influence posting of criminal elements as ad hoc staff, and we will expose the names in the coming days. I will have some of them. We have had those that are training under Ratek work. We have had how they plan to attack areas of strength of their opponents. We have had how they have marked polling units with high voting strength they want to use to subvert the will of the people. We have had how they want to arrest leaders of other parties night before election with trump-up charges. All this will be discussed live in the coming days, as today will not contain the new information we have. Citizens, vigilance is key to stopping these electoral tips, and we must start now to mobilize ourselves. If you can spend days on fuel lines, then we can, and we should spend just one day at the polling unit to ensure the right thing is done and that our votes count. Thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Brief comments.